My topic is monopolies in the pharmaceutical industry, some background knowledge. What is a monopoly? So let's see it on the graph. Recap: the profit maximizing quantity is the point where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. In a perfectly competitive market, demand curve is the marginal revenue curve. The point where the marginal cost intersects the marginal revenue is right here, and that gives you this quantity and that price. But in a monopolistic market, this is the marginal revenue curve, and that's the marginal cost. So the point where they intersect are right here, and that gives you this quantity, which is significantly lower than in a perfectly competitive market. But because, again, that's the only supply, it faces the demand curve directly, so it can charge this price, and it absolutely does. So the price in a monopoly is also higher than the price in a perfectly competitive market. So how do they exist in the pharmaceutical industry? For main reasons. First of all, patents, whereby companies have exclusive rights to sell the drug. Think of it like a temporary monopoly, completely legal, by the way, and typically it's 20 years from the filing date, and they act as a barrier to entry, and no other firm apply the product during this entire period. Also, evergreening is used to make this temporary patent more permanent. Firms will be like, oh, we changed this. Scientifically, nothing much would be different. It would pretty much be the same discovery, but they're marketed in a way where completely new products. Second, regulatory barriers, whereby the Food and Drug Administration approval takes years and years and lots of money. This obviously delays cheaper generics. Third, rare diseases. Because the population which needs that drug is so limited, only one company develops a treatment, which causes a single supplier monopoly. Fourth, business tactics, which is basically the pharmaceutical industry's legal and business side creating lawsuits and deals. Let's look at a few of these examples. So, example 1. Curing Pharmaceuticals, which basically has a monopoly over direct. How did they get this monopoly? It's the only FDA-approved treatment for toxoplasmosis at that time. It had no competitors. Secondly, it was an old drug and had a small patient population, so again, no financial incentive for others to develop alternatives. A single supplier monopoly, essentially. Third, regulatory hurdles. Even if someone did want to make a generic, approval would take a lot of time and money. Integrally, in curing pharmaceuticals could raise the price overnight from $13.5 to $750, and the patients obviously have no other choice. Moving on, Mylan has a monopoly on EpiPen. They have also increased the price over 400 in 2007 and 2016. It's pretty messed up. They have a patent on the injected device too, not just the drug. The chemical itself, EpiPen, it's crazy. Gilead Sciences, they have a monopoly on Sovaldi, a drug that cures hepatitis C. The company has really used patent protections too, just like Mylan, and as a consequence, they priced it at $1,000 per pill. The price of my iPhone, $1,000. Argue that it's saving a lot of money, like long term, but $1,000 for one pill. On example 4, this is more an oligopoly than a monopoly, as Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Sanofi. These 3 companies dominate the insulin market, and again, the way they do this is very similar compared to monopolies. It's the same techniques essentially: evergreening, regulatory hurdles, and lack of true competition, which has made insulin crazy unaffordable. Prices have tripled, even though the original insulin patent expired decades ago. It's crazy. Capitalism. Again, example 5, Biogen again has a monopoly on Spinraza. Why is all of this a problem? Mainly for reasons. First of all, deadweight loss. Because we're not maximizing the quantity which can be sold and bought, this obviously reduces the total welfare in society. Secondly, these products are products that you need either ways, like much like water. Due to this inelastic demand, monopolists can set prices far above marginal cost, and this makes it unaffordable for many. A lot of people resort to crazy lengths just to be able to afford it, but again, it is a matter of life and death. So this leads to high prices. Third, these high prices limit the access, especially for vulnerable and marginalized populations. Fourth, reduced dynamic efficiency, because there is no competitive pressure, because there's barriers to entry, monopolists may invest in innovation, and over time, this definitely slows the pace of technological and medical advance. First off, we definitely need to shorten patent periods for critical medicines. That would definitely encourage generics to come up. And second, as we talk about generics, we need to streamline regulatory processes to rapidly approve these generics. Third, we need to introduce price ceilings. $1,000 per pill is not okay. Fourth, we need to strengthen patent review standards. We need to apply rigorous scientific and clinical scrutiny to ensure new patent applications represent genuine scientific innovation. Pretty much everything. Fifth and last, we need to establish public sector drug production for critical medications.